Hello YouTubers! It's time for another plane review. Not so much an overlooked plane like some of the really cheap ones that I've bought. This is a Japanese style rabbet plane. It's a solid block of wood with a very odd U-shaped cutter. It has two cutting edges, and it has a fence, which is pretty nice. It's adjustable. It's got some simple screws. I paid about $27 for it, I think, on Amazon, so it's not super cheap. I bought it a while back because I needed a rabbet plane and didn't want to spend the money. Of course, now I've gone and spent the money on a whole bunch of other ones. Well, let's get right to the nitty-gritty. You adjust the fence to where you want it. There's no depth. You just have to stop when you're done. And it's Japanese, so it's designed for cutting on the pull stroke. So let's put it on here, make sure that, I did not have that fence tightened down very well at all. That'd be mistake number one. There we go. That'll work for demonstration purposes. And then we're going to pull it through the stroke. See what kind of curl it makes. Well, it makes a pretty nice curl. I have it set fairly thin without being ridiculously thin. And it curled, pretty much the entire cut. So that is the factory edge. I have not touched it with a stone, haven't sharpened it. I'm not quite getting it at the end here. Okay, there's probably some proper technique to it. But it is making nice curls, and they are flowing away from the plane. They're not clogging it up. No, it didn't really flow away, but pretty nice. Now let's take a little bit more look at the construction. I'm going to take the fence off. Just undo these couple of screws so we can take a look at what the bottom looks like. Okay, and the fence, that actually looks like red oak to me. I don't know what wood this is. It's probably a Japanese oak. It's very similar. It's very white. It's got a very tight grain on the end. It's really quite pretty. It's a nice piece of wood. Very flat, very straight. Okay, so let's take a look at the way the cutters is. And you see it's got little bevels on the outside edges, I guess, to help you fit it back together. Let's see if I can get the blade out of here. Bear with me a moment. All right, getting the blade out was no easy task. And what I can see just right there, you can see in the glare, it was sort of flattened. Looks like it was probably just done on, I don't know, maybe that was done on a stone. It's pretty coarse. The edges actually have some polish to them. I have used them a bit, which tends to polish the edges, but it did cut really nicely right out of the box. Let's see, am I getting focus? There we go. Get a good look at that blade. It's almost 1/8 of an inch thick. Probably a little bit thinner. It's a pretty just general piece of steel. It's, minimally flattened, but adequately flattened. And it does, as I like for an inexpensive tool, it works out of the box. Anyway, it's pretty neat. It does a nice job. Let's take a look at you see the rabbet I created on there? Tip in closer. It did a nice job. It cuts a nice... The blade is just slightly wider than the wood. And when you set it up, you want to tap it to whichever side you're cutting on so that it actually sticks just a hair wider than the wood. So it'll cut straight down on the rabbet. Otherwise, the rabbet will start to bevel and you'll start walking away from the sort of your fence line. Takes a little practice to get it to cut good, but it does cut. I mean, a little practice is like 5 or 6 strokes. But it does cut really good. So this is, like I said, less than $30 from Amazon. A pretty good option if you think you want a rabbet plane, but you don't want to spend a lot of money. I don't recall what I spent on the other rabbet planes that I bought that were more Westerns, old-fashioned Western style, and they didn't have you had to create your own fence. So this does have that advantage of having a built-in fence wherever it went. Simple hunk of wood. Pretty neat tool if you think you're going to use it quite a bit. It's not a bad investment at all. This one's by KAKURI, I believe was the name. You can find them on Amazon. Just search for Japanese rabbet plane. I think you'll get a good deal out of that. All right, we'll catch you later.